possible manufacturing, greatest possible word, meditation. That is the work. Sans any ways, sans any factors. The mind is always working. But every night the body requires sleep to be able to work in a better fashion the next day. Supposing we don't give rest to the body every night, right? Twice a day, including the siesta time in the afternoons, the sun is hot. During the sleep time, the body rejuvenates itself and again fresh and ready for the next bout of activity. Next time around, sleep is very, very essential for every life form. The plant, the animal, the human being, sleep is essential. It rejuvenates the body. So after deep sleep, you work better early in the morning. You are fresh. Yes, I am again fresh for activity. If you are not sleeping well in the night, okay, then the next day you are totally sapped of energy. Your energy sap is not there. So sleep is essential for the body and meditation is essential for the mind. As much as you are only observing the activity of other minds in the movie, then your mind is in a relaxed state. Your mind is only perceiving other minds. Your mind, yours by itself is not working. So that relaxation gives you certain energy. So relaxation is mild meditation, whereas meditation is deepest possible relaxation. And that is very, very important must for every human being. Meditation is not required for any animal because there are no problems there. There is no lack of peace of mind there. So once you come out from the animal kingdom to the human kingdom, then the meditation comes in along with your humanness. The special quality of humanness is the special quality of the mind of the human being. And that mind, incessantly working, scheming, doing things, okay, offending others and defending itself from the offense of others, a lot of activity, mental activity. And the mind needs, for its focus, for its sharpness, a lot of relaxation. And that is provided by meditation. A higher human being is a master of meditation. A lower or immature human being doesn't know meditation. So the mind is always working, tensed up, acting, reacting, and exhausted at the end of the day. Okay, and that keeps on repeating the whole of the lifetime. And there are more disasters in that life than blessings. If you want more blessings than disasters, then you have to become a master of meditation. You have to become a practitioner of meditation every day. The great master Patanjali has defined yoga as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga means making the mind's waves more peaceful and stopping those waves, stopping those activities. Nirodha means stopping. Stop our mind's activity. That is yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Then what happens when the mind becomes empty? Then Patanjali said again, tataha drashtaha swarupe avasthanam. Tata. Then you become a drashta. Drashta means you become a seer through your third eye. When the mind becomes empty, your third eye blossoms. When the mind is like a jungle, devouring your personality, the third eye is in a placid condition. It's in a suppressive conditions. But when the mind is not there, the thought pressure is not there, when the mind is empty, then the third eye blossoms. That is called a drashtaha. You become a seer.
Divine Master, Divine Evening Masters. I hope you all are, getting the knowledge about the, how the holistic, everything matters, in a healthy body. One has to work along with the body on the spiritual side also, on the mental level also. So a very nice insight has been given by, our masters, Smita and Asha on this platform, which we all have been, listening to them. And truly the PSSM and the SWAG team is very grateful to them for, curating such amazing session for us. So let's begin the session with 20 minutes of meditation, masters. So ensure that you're sitting in the most comfortable position. It can be, you can sit on your chair or sofa by crossing your legs. We have to do 3 locks, like, we lock our legs by crossing it over. Then we lock our fingers by clasping our fingers. And then the third lock, which we do, is we close the eyes, because whatever the cosmic energy which we gain during this meditation, it should be retained in our body for our betterment. So that's why we do the 3 locks. So let's begin the 20-minute session of meditation. So just cross your legs, clasp your fingers, and close your eyes. Just keep an awareness on your natural breath. Let each breath which you inhale and exhale be in your awareness. It happens in your awareness. Sorry for the disturbance. Keep awareness on your natural breath, your incoming and outgoing. You may get plenty of thoughts, and it's normal. Bring back your awareness to your breath during this meditation. Slowly come back to your body's awareness. Gently open your both palms and keep them over your eyes for 10 seconds. And gently open your eyes. Thank you so much, Masters, for participating in group meditation. I now hand over to Master Asha for the session. Thank you.
Atmavandan Masters, thank you for joining today's session. I'm just going to share today's slide. So today is the penultimate day of this program, and both Smita and me are going to take today's session. So I'm just going to have a very short session on what is germ and terrain theory, and then Smita will come over and do the summary of the entire program. So she'll do a part of it today and some part of it tomorrow. So today we are going to talk about what is germ and what is terrain theory. So we have been hearing a lot about germs and how germs are there to attack us, how germs cause disease, how germs are causing mass contagions and death and widespread pain and disease in the human population. So this thinking is not just restricted to today's times, but it is kind of a continuation of the times when humankind has always blamed something outside of us for our miseries, right? So, for example, we believe that eclipses are caused by certain gods or certain entities who are there to trouble us. So, in short, this germ theory also is like a continuation of the same thing. So, we believe that there are germs which kind of organize themselves and do mass attacks on the human population. But of course, we really have to think about uh, this aspect, because this is what has been drilled to us from childhood, right? In schools and media and all these places, we have learned to become very fearful of germs. So actually, germ theory originated from a person called Louis Pasteur. So he put forward this germ theory, and he said that there are microbes all around us who can get into our body through the air or through water droplets or through contamination, and then invade our body and cause disease. So he said that they cause disease, and each microbe produces specific diseases and symptoms. And the solution he proposed that in order to kill them, in order to control them, they need to be killed by the ingestion of medicines or injection of any medicines. So, of course, this was very much liked by the pharmaceutical industry, and a whole story was built up, and that's how the vaccinations and immunization started. Now, his contemporary, who was Antoine Beauchamp, he was a French professor, and he proposed that actually microbes are there in all living things. So we are, more than cells. We are a conglomeration of trillions of microbes in our body. And the microbes are there in our body, and they share a symbiotic relationship. They are there for certain reasons, and he proposed that there are smaller living forms in our body called microzyma, and he said that these microzyma, depending on the conditions inside the body, they can evolve into either bacteria or fungi, uh, to help the body do certain things. For example, if there is excess toxicity in the body, these microzyma can evolve and become into specific germs, and they will proliferate, and their job is to feed on the toxicity, to feed on their food. So for them, their food is the toxic material available in the body. See, all organisms in nature are basically after food and ways to reproduce themselves, right? So germs are no different. So as long as they find the food they want in the warmth, dark interiors of our body, they will be there, and they will do their job of eating or recycling all the waste in our body. And once their job is done, their population will automatically go down. And he said that germs are not the cause for disease, but they are there because the terrain of the body or the soil of the body is providing the right conditions for the germs to exist and proliferate. And he said that the solution is actually to address the terrain, that is, look at the internal conditions of the body. So if the body is toxic either because of diet or lifestyle environment stresses, then of course these microbes are going to come and they are going to automatically be attracted to their source of food. So these were two, entirely different views which existed at that time, and it is said that actually Louis Pasteur, copied the work of Antoine Duchamp, and there's a lot of history to all these things, and that's how this whole immunization story started. But as I said, we are more, germs than human cells. We have microbes within our body. It is there all around us, right? So there are microbes in the air, water, soil within our body, and there is no way we can escape from them. They have been here even before us for millions and millions of years. So they are going to be there even after us, and they are only like opportunistic beings. They are only there because they want their food, that's it. So germs or microbes do not have the neural capacity to plan an attack on any other being, so they are just there to do their job. So, as I said, they share a symbiotic relationship with us, and germs and viruses are actually nature's tools to cleanse us up. They do not cause disease, they only come to feed on the disease causing toxin that has accumulated inside the body. Remember, we said that toxins are the cause of all disease in the body. So when the body is diseased, the germs will come and they will proliferate, and they may cause additional toxicity because of their excrements and their proliferation also. So the real cause is that we are offering that kind of conditions for the germs to come into our body. Just like, if there is a garbage bin which is full of waste, you will see that after a few days, even if the bin is tightly closed, there will be maggots and flies inside the bin. So, have you ever wondered where they have come from? How could they have gotten into the bin? And what is the job they are doing? So, they evolve from within, right? So, that is how nature's cycle is. That is the nature of how everything gets recycled. So there will be um, organisms which evolve from within whose job is to decompose. For example, even if you are composting at home, right? So you just need to put fruits and vegetables and all that, and you just keep it for some time, turn it once in a while. You will see that after a few months, you will get rich compost, and that compost will be teeming with earthworms. So where did they come from? So it's all part of, nature's design. So just like that, germs are no more the cause of the disease than flies are the cause of garbage. And the presence of germs do not constitute the presence of a disease. There are instances where the so-called dangerous germ is present in the body, but the person doesn't exhibit any symptoms of a disease. And there are cases where a certain germ is present in the body, but the person is exhibiting some other different symptoms of disease. And there are also instances where people have experimented by injecting germs of some kind of strain into a healthy person, and that healthy person doesn't develop any disease. So this shows that this whole germ theory is wrong, and the presence of a germ does not constitute the presence of a disease. Bacteria are nothing but scavengers of nature, and they only come to reduce dead tissue to its smallest element. So they are like recyclers. So germs are really powerless in a healthy body. So we as nature cure practitioners, we don't have to work at the level of disease, right? So we don't have to work on germs and what they are doing, what their job is. Our job is only to build health. So we only work on building a healthy body, in which case germs will not have any job to do. They will not come to a healthy body, and we don't have to worry about all these things at all. So then you may ask, what is the reason for contagions, right? We've recently had situations where supposedly a huge number of people contracted the same kind of disease. So here there are many factors involved. Of course, one cannot deny that certain numbers have also been made up, and it has been presented that there is a big war, battle going on outside, and there are, all these germs coming and attacking. So many thousands of people are dying. But the truth is, things happen in nature in a cyclic way. This is not the first time this has happened, it has happened before also. So, whenever the mass of population undergoes enervation, right, a rapid loss of energy in the body due to some reason which may be there for a long time. For example, mass stress. So nowadays we are seeing reports of people losing jobs and the economy slowing down. So there's a lot of stress in people's minds. Or it can be some kind of fear which has been also generated by the news, or famines, or wars, or prolonged change in temperature, prolonged heat, prolonged cold, pollution, dry season, rainy weather, droughts, national emergencies, famines. All these things create enervation in the body, whether it's due to mental worry or lack of the proper environment or food. And then what happens is that we lose the body's vital prana shakti. So when this happens, the body is not able to cope up with the amount of toxins coming in, and it's not able to keep up with the daily cleansing. So many people will become toxic at this time, and it just needs a trigger for people to start detoxification. So it can be prolonged time of cold, in which case the body is spending all its energy in keeping the body warm. And this is also the time when people don't go out. People spend a lot of time indoors. They are fearful of the sunlight, or some certain fear is generated that one shouldn't go outside. So all these reasons cause us to disconnect with nature, and there's a lot of fear and panic in the mind. The skin pores close up, and the normal channels of detoxification get clogged up, and detoxification slows down. So toxins are retained in the body, in which case automatically when this trigger goes on for a long time, the body will initiate a detox. Remember, we spoke about healing crisis and all that, right? So there will be incidences of cold, coughs, fevers happening specifically during a change of season, or as I said, during a season of, lot of stress in the human population. So this may trigger a series of developments where many people may be detoxing at the same time. This gives an illusion of a contagion. So this is really not something we need to worry about as long as we work on ourselves, as long as we work on building health. There is no need to worry about contagions. So pure blood and abundant vitality are our correct protective agencies. If we have that with us, if we are equipped with the knowledge of how to keep ourselves full of vitality, full of conditions with which provide pure blood flowing in our body, we don't have to worry about these external things at all. So this is something we really need to think about, and reflect on how we want to approach this whole thing the next time something similar happens. So thank you for listening to me. This was a short presentation on this one. So this is actually a big topic by itself. There's a lot of detailing to this, but we didn't really want to go too much into this because our job is to build health, right? So we just focus on the positive aspects. So over to you, Smita, now.
Thank you, Asha. Let me share. So friends, from today and tomorrow, I'll be covering a summary, quick summary. We have about 100 plus slides. So I will just be going very quickly, just to cover the salient points of each of these videos. Okay. So day one, what did we cover? So what is the main objective of this particular course? The main objective of this course is to ensure that you understand that you are self-healing, and nobody beyond yourself has the knowledge or the equipment to handle your healing crisis or whatever is your problems in life. Only you are well equipped to handle that. So this particular course has been designed majorly to help you understand that, and I hope that is a takeaway and you have understood at least to some extent how you can do that. At all levels, mentally, physically, socially, everything, right? So day one, what did we cover? We covered that what is the health scenario of today? We are depending majorly on medicines, or we are depending majorly on, see, even if it's not allopathy medicines, we are still trying to go to Ayurvedic medicines or homeopathy medicines or some kind of invasive methods to put something inside our body and then believe that there is healing. Like Asha told about germs also, right? In the past, people have always believed that, it's very, very ancient. People have always believed that if something happens inside a human being, there are evil spirits inside the human being, and that evil spirit has to be destroyed. So over a period of time, there have been many, many different ways of handling that so-called evil spirit without having the knowledge that it was actually toxins. So that people just kept putting things inside. In the beginning, people also killed such subjects who displayed those symptoms. But then if you watch such documentaries, you will know that the issues of treatment or the methods of treatment have evolved over a period of time, and then over time it became medicines or herbs or any such thing. But then the fundamental objective of any of these things that we put inside our body to attack those so-called evil spirits is nothing but to kill those evil spirits, which is exactly what even Louis Pasteur thought, that they have to be killed. So he was in the similar mindset. So only later on, when the terrain theory or the soil theory came up, people believed that it was actually not the germ itself or not the problem itself. It's actually the toxins that we have created through our emotional, mental, deviations from our soul path, or the way we have to actually think, right? So that is what, and that is why we have a lot of diseases, and healthcare industry, everything is increasing. And so the idea is that we align with nature, and that because the body is self-correcting, and then we align with nature, all kinds of elements of nature, because we are made of those kind of elements, right? So the focus is not to attack the disease, but the focus is to restore back the health, which is the deviations that we have made from our homeostasis or the center. So we bring back ourselves to the center. So in the process of bringing ourselves back to the center, we basically see healing, or the disease itself recorrects itself. It becomes okay. So we have also seen that toxins are the cause of all diseases. Majorly toxins, where physically toxins are coming from our incorrect lifestyle habits, majorly thinking habits, emotional habits. It started from there. And when that happens, the energy gets blocked in certain organs of our body, in certain areas of our body. It may not be physically, you can't see that. It is at the prana level, or the nerve force level. So the energy gets trapped, and that malfunctions the organs. So at the whole body, if one organ is malfunctioning, that causes a cascading effect in other organs, because each of them behaves like an input and output. If one gives an input to the one organ, they will actually accept that as an input, and then they will give an output. So there is always this input-output happening. The whole body works in unison, or it works together. So that is where toxins get built, and toxins get circulated. Poison blood is also carrying all these filth and things like that. So there are all of these causes that we have also discussed, which can cause that. So what are the solution? Is to build homeostasis, or bring back our living conditions. So day 2, we discussed about the design of the body, why we'll have to go plant-based, what are dairy products, and what are the spiritual reasons to go plant-based. So we understood what are these aspects that we basically go misalign. Where do we basically misalign? We misalign in the way we believe that we are still animals. We are still like those animals that we have evolved from. So this is where we are showing that there has to be some correction in our thinking. We are no longer animals. We no longer have to depend on our animal friends. We have evolved beyond them. And in this human lifestyle, our focus is majorly self-realization, understanding that we are a soul and we are not this human body. When we were animals, we didn't have that awareness. But now we have moved. This body has been taken. After 84 lakh lives of being an animal, we have taken this body just to get to that self-realized state. So in this process, we do have habits where we have done all kinds of animal-dependent activities, but we have to eventually move on beyond animal-dependent activities. So that is where we spoke about plant-based lifestyle, and how our anatomy is not designed to depend on animal food, which is animal meat, or animal related dairy products, or any such thing. So all of these things we discussed our anatomy. So next is we discussed why we'll have to go plant-based, because plants are very high in vibration and very connected to Mother Earth. So if we have to reach a higher stage of evolution in our own life, if you have to move beyond the current stage of consciousness and to higher states of consciousness, we'll have to get to higher state of vibrations, make ourselves lighter and lighter in terms of frequency and vibrations. So, and which means our atomic structure will have to start vibrating high. What does that mean? For example, when the helicopter wing, so the helicopter's, what is that? The wing, if it starts to rotate very, very fast, what happens? The helicopter ascends higher. Similarly, if we are also vibrating very fast, we also go higher, right? Our spirit goes higher. Our atomic aspects actually go higher. Our physical body will still be here, but our awareness, our thinking, our consciousness, everything goes higher. So that is why, since we'll have to focus on our objective of becoming a human being, it is best to go plant-based, because anything that is not plant-based, if you continue to keep consuming, you will still be in that lower states of consciousness, in that lower density. Okay. So in the past, that the situation was different, but today we are getting more awareness from Mother Earth, from the universe, to basically go higher. So that is why such courses are being organized. You can see people around you going more sattvic in nature, meditations are coming in front of you. Why the awareness is actually becoming more and more today. Why did it not happen 10 years before? Because that time the earth itself was not in that kind of consciousness to give you that awareness. But today we have, so let's make use of it. Hence, you will have to go plant-based. We spoke about why and what about plant-based. So when I talk about these things, you can go to that respective video and see in detail, and how it is more appealing to us, why we get so attracted to it, and how the body also expects that, and then we are majorly disease-free when we are on these kinds of lifestyles choices. So why dairy products are not good? Because it is coming from an animal, and dairy is majorly made for its baby, and why it is not made for a human baby or a human being. We have depended on our own mother only for few years. We can't drink our mother's milk even today, because we no longer have those microbiomes or microbiomes that is required to process that kind of a food. So we can't have it. Whatever goes inside our body, which has no plan by the body to understand what that food is, it rots, it putrefies, and then that becomes acidic, and the body will have to find a way to send it outside. But before it sends it outside, the food itself, because of acidity levels, will do a lot of damage inside our body before it leaves the body, and it takes a long time, because body has to understand that it has to be sent out, right? So these are all hard to digest, high fat proteins, which will also lead to a lot of acid formation in the process of its digestion, or in the process of its breaking down. So hence, and we also spoke about what is dairy, and what happens to the cows in the dairy industry, what is their exposure, and how do we get it. And I gave a lot of case studies about what happened when children came to us with how the child who had milk intolerance basically became completely okay with just consuming, when the mother consumed the right food. So I spoke about all of those things. And then I also spoke about the spiritual reasons why we'll have to go plant-based. So how we are evolved to, rather, why did we even go into those kinds of paths of consuming animals or consuming dairy products? But why today is the time for shifting? Why in the past we didn't have to shift, but why today we have to shift? And all of those reasons I basically gave here, just so that you understand that whatever happened in the past also had to happen. But that doesn't mean that today we have to continue the same kind of behavior, the same kind of things that our ancestors gave us. The ancestors were in that duality, but now we are eventually moving to oneness. Oneness means there is no right and wrong. There is no good and bad. And we are eventually moving towards a state of oneness, which means our consciousness has to improve. We can't really go and depend on animals and do that. So I spoke about all of these things. So you can listen to this video in detail for that. So on day 3, we spoke about what are whole foods and what are refined foods. Asha spoke about that. And then she told that in whatever nature brings in her as are all whole foods, which means they have their skin intact and all of those things. So when we consume whole foods, we are bringing the whole package into our body, and then the body understands how to deal with that whole package. So when we break up that, the body will also find it difficult to understand what do I do with these kinds of foods, because the body, when it has to dissect it, it might have to depend on, let's say, the fiber and things like that. But we also, in the next few videos, we also spoke about juices, and for whatever reasons, I'll speak about that again. So whole foods are very important. Like, for example, whole fruits are also very important, whole vegetables. So wherever it is necessary, you definitely have to bring in whole fruits, whole vegetables, and whole grains and things like that, whole nuts and seeds. See, for example, whole nuts and seeds are actually with its shell, but we remove the shell and then we are able to eat only the nut, the inside part, the pulpy part of the nut. So in some cases, we actually do this kind of a separation because we can't chew it, because nuts are not our natural foods. But we can eat it because it's available in nature. But if we were truly in the wild, we may not be consuming nuts at all, because we couldn't really bite it and things like that. Like, we are not like a squirrel. So there are some things where we have an exception, but overall, we have to just see how far are we from the plant. If we are eating foods that are very far from the plant, actually, then that is called a refined food. So, for example, maida, it has been broken down so much from the wheat. Rava also, for that matter, is almost maida, one step before maida. Then white rice, processed millets. So today, when the millets hype really became very big in India, people started using millets. But the thing is, millets also take a lot of time to get cooked. You'll have to soak it and things like that. So people still wanted fast lifestyle. So whatever you get majorly in the market are all again polished millets. So which is what was called processed millets here. Oil, again, we spoke in detail about oil, why oil should not be consumed. Definitely cold pressed oil is definitely better than refined oil, but cold pressed oil is also oil, and any oil is definitely going detrimental for the body, because if you can't wash your container where food with oil was stored with soap, it means that you can't have a plan to wash your body also with soap, because the same food has gone inside your body. And every single, I'm just having 1 spoon of oil, I'm actually we've reduced oil consumption a whole lot, they will say. But then if you have reduced so much and you're not even finding the taste of oil in the food, then why consume oil at all? We don't need oil at all for cooking. So even having little oil where it doesn't actually matter for the taste, so why do we have to consume it? So how does that even matter in that case? So it is just a process of unlearning how to cook. That is what you have to do, and that is a step that you have to take for the well-being of you and your family. Sugar, of course, is absolutely nothing. It has nothing to value add in life, except for taste and rather making sure that our microbiomes go haywire in the body. So sugar actually gives a lot of problems, and it gives a lot of cravings. Sugar and salt especially gives a lot of cravings in the body. So the more you cut down on sugar and salt, the better balanced our mood and better balanced our tastes will be. And of course, processed foods and all that have high amounts of sugar, oil. There always has to be a combination of sugar, fats, and salt. And of course, spices. When you bring all of this combination, it is like a super hit, and you can't stop eating it. That is exactly what the industry wants. Yeah, so we also discussed about what do refined foods bring, and why refined foods causes all of these things, because body does not know how to handle it. So when the body does not know how to handle it, this is what happens, and then there is a lot of imbalance that happens in the body. Those imbalances leads to toxemia, and that toxemia leads to all of these issues. So it is best that you go natural, seasonal, original. Of course, these days, when it comes to city-based lifestyle, we don't know what is seasonal at all. So at least what you can think of is at least whatever is coming in the market in abundance, like every gadi wala, like small time vendors, if they are having certain foods in their gadi, it means that foods cost has actually the buying, the cost that the purchase value of that goods or the fruit or vegetable or whatever has actually become very less. Why did it become less? It is because there is abundance of it in the production itself. So which means it was seasonal. So if you look at it that way, if the small time vendors are also selling certain fruits and things like that, that is now the season, because they won't be able to sell if it is actually costly. So these are some of the ways that you can understand, at least in city life, what is seasonal. And buy things that are from local markets. If you're able to look for farmers who are able to source food for you, that is well and good. But of course, if you don't have connection with farmers and things like that, look for vendors who are selling things in abundance, and then make sure that things have to be moving very fast, because in season the food moves very fast, the items move very fast, people buy it in bulk. So you'll have to observe what is actually moving in the market, and you'll have to invest in that, because all these fresh fruits and vegetables and all have been cooked by the only source of energy on the planet, which is the sun. We don't cook our energy, only plants make their energy, plants cook their food. And we'll have to look for foods with a lot of sunlight that has gone into them, and it has withstood all of those temperatures and weathers and things like that. It has stayed in, like, for example, the fruit does not happen overnight. It takes a long time on the tree to actually become a fruit. But if you look at a vegetable, we get a vegetable very quickly compared to a fruit. But fruits mature for a very long time. It means that they have absorbed a lot of the pranic energies from all of these elements. That is why when we consume it, we are very rich in those kinds of enzymes and things like that. So the higher the food is on the plant, the longer the food is on the plant, the better it is for us. So that is also one rule of thumb that you can actually think of. Okay. Oh, that doesn't mean that animals are there very, very long under the sun, so you can actually consume it. So for reasons that are not the same, you don't have to consume it. You should not be consuming them. So day 4, we spoke about acid conditions and alkaline conditions and hydrations. Acid conditions are again conditions which are very against the body's natural health. So when we also spoke about what is PRAL, what potential renal acid load which happens in the kidneys, which is measured in the kidneys, and what is alkalization, what is acidic, what happens when digestion of protein happens. We discussed a lot about protein in this particular class. Then how fruits and vegetables are very high, very negative in their PRAL numbers. We spoke about that. And then we spoke about how acids accumulate in the body when we go away from our natural lifestyle. And what are these choices that we make when we go away? All of those things we discussed, like unmindful activities and things like that. And what happens, what is the root cause for all of these names that the medical industry has brought to us? And that is acidosis or toxemia. So we spoke about that. Then we spoke about how do you bring balance back to that center, which is all the raw foods and vegetables and things. At a physical level, the food is one of the things, and then exercises, mindful living, bringing that mental balance, emotional balance, and connection with nature. All of these things we discussed in the alkaline balance aspects. And importance of hydration. This is where we spoke a lot about juicing, and why, although juicing is not whole, it's not whole food, why it is still important for today's times, why juicing is very important for today's time, and how to actually improve the hydration levels, which have for decades, or what do you say, for centuries, man has been dehydrated for a very long time, and which also deteriorated the progeny quite a bit from generation to generation. The quality of lifestyle, the quality of the product, or the quality of the progeny or the child itself started deteriorating for lack of right lifestyle, because for lack of availability for them to lead the right lifestyle in the past. But over a period of time, now we are going back in the reverse direction, and now we have to embrace a lot of fruits, vegetables, and greens, and then we'll have to also make up for the loss that our ancestors could not make up for. So today in our body and today's living conditions, we need a whole lot of easy easily available fruit, easily available vegetable, easily available green enzymes into our body to help us heal better, to help the cells heal better, to cells heal. So all of these things we discussed in this chapter. And it would be great if you can actually hear this chapter and understand. There are so many people who are asking me questions about in the group, why not the fiber and things like that. So please come back to this chapter to understand more about hydration. Day 5, we spoke about vital energy. Very, very important chapter. If you understand this particular day 5 chapter very well, and acid alkaline balance very well, you will be an expert on the subject. Okay, this is the key for you to help yourself. So understand what is vital energy. Vital energy is nothing but the prana shakti that we are born with, and we have to save that prana shakti. So the conservation of that prana shakti or that energy itself is everything. So the higher and abundant we are with that prana shakti or that vital energy, the better healthy we are. So there are various ways in which you can balance this energies. You can bring in physical rest in many ways. You can balance it with physical rest, physiological rest, and then psychological rest in many different ways at different points in your life. Whether you are sick or no, rest in many different ways is the key to vital energy management. And also we can earn vital energy through meditation and sleeping better and improving our emotional balance and things like that. So we spoke about vital energy here very detailedly. So lack of mindfulness, dehydration of natural fluids, which eventually moves to stagnation of toxins. So anything where the body is working very hard, when the body is working very hard to keep you alive, to digest your food, wherever it is working very hard, there you will lose a lot of vital energy. For example, let's say if you depend on a whole lot of foods, like if you depend on just cooked food, because even if it's, let's say, whole food, even if you just depend on whole cooked food only, and thinking that there's so much of fiber in it, I don't need anything else, there also you'll be dehydrated, because if, body is working a whole lot on cooked food. So it is always better, even on the cooked food plate, you bring a lot of salads and things like that. So the body's work will sort of be reduced a little. So find out the ways in which the body works less and gives you back more. So the return on investment of your work has to be much higher than you working and not getting anything in return. When it comes to cooked food, animal products and all of those things, we are majorly not getting any return on investment. So return on investment happens only when you are mindful about eating, exercising in balance, that we covered in the last chapter. So you can look at all of those things. So what if you continue to keep spending on this vital energy and you don't know because of lack of knowledge and things like that? We spoke about stages of diseases in great detail. So how somebody was speaking about inflammation, gastritis and all of that, inflammation of the skin, which is eczemas and all of those things. So all of these issues are at various stages. The names of the disease can fall in only 7 categories. Every disease can fall only in these 7 categories, and your job is to go back from that whatever category you are or whichever stage you are back to stage 0. And stage 0 is basically health. And how do you go back? By constantly working on that vital energy. See, body is healing. Okay, body will heal. So you'll have to give the opportunity for the body to save its vital energy or get more vital energy. and then it will automatically go back to the previous stages. And while it is going back to the previous stages, it will show all those symptoms of those previous stages, which you basically suppressed with medicines or suppressed with something or the other. So suppression is a no. And all the symptoms that you get in the process of going back is a welcome thing that you'll have to celebrate in this case. Okay. So disease is a rather healing from a disease, or that healing crisis is what is a celebration, is something that you have to celebrate in gratitude. So when you keep doing that and you understand this is not actually a problem, I have grown up with the attitude that fever is bad, this is bad, chills are bad, fever is actually very scary, I might go into what is that called, fits and things like that, epilepsy and things like that. We have this mind block. So we now, this class is all about unlearning and learning better, new knowledge, an old form of knowledge which was long forgotten. So we are getting you back something from a stage where even Ayurveda did not exist, where diseases itself did not exist. Okay, so all the medicines are happening, all the medicines happened after, when we did not follow these things and when we started moving into duality. So now is the time to go back to our roots, and it's now the time for you to learn it, understand it, practice it, and pass this knowledge as an asset or to the next generation, so that your next few generations are healthy. Okay, so train children, help children, but before that you'll have to help yourself. Okay, so this is toxemia, irritation, what all happens in irritation, what are the diseases that happens in irritation, what is inflammation, every single aspect of inflammation, what is ulceration, and then what is tumor, and then what is cancer. All of these things we've spoken about, and then we don't have to, what do you say, fear cancer. Cancer is a very scary term in the world today, and that is only because of ignorance and lack of knowledge. Nobody has to be scared of cancer, but it needs a lot more discipline to come back from stage 7 to stage 0, as opposed to coming from stage 2, stage 3 back to stage 0. So the farther you go away from stage 0, the longer it takes for you to come back. So which means a lot more discipline, a lot more consistency, a lot more saving of vitality, a very, very strict discipline. So which means you don't have the room for even indulgence. So you'll have to go back purely to living in nature. So because it's a what do you say, fight against time. Body is dying. So that is why here we'll have to bring a lot more discipline, and it's not impossible to reverse from this stage. But like I said, you need a lot more thing, all these likes, dislikes, I don't like this, I don't like that, desires, I like to live this only, I like to live like that only, I like this taste, I can't quit that. All those basically has to be set aside, and then you just have to surrender to Mother Nature, and then Mother Nature, in her own time, in her own way, she'll take you back to stage 0. So here it is like complete surrender to Mother Nature has to be here, and that is when, see, when I say surrender to Mother Nature, which means you're connecting with the elements, you're connecting with the food, which is again natural. The mind has to be connected to nature. You'll have to be spiritually disciplined, emotionally disciplined, mentally disciplined. Everything has to be in pristine condition. Like at least trial wise, everything has to be attempted to the pristine condition. Then only we are actually going back from the stage. But there also, if you bring in, I don't like this, I don't like that kind of approach, that's it, gone. You're wasting time. Okay, so that is day 6. That was day 5. Day 6, we spoke about denser foods, protein, high fat, all the fads in the industry. What is this called? The fitness industry, where wherever there is a gym, you have protein shops there, high protein shops there. So we spoke about vibration of foods, right? Asha spoke about the vibration of foods here, and how if you're able to understand how energy works, how each of these foods have their own vibration, and we can't measure it with any device because it needs a device where atomic energy is measured. So it can happen only in a lab. But then there are people who understand how pranic healing works, who understand how Reiki works, or any of those kind of energy work. If they have done, you would have also learned how to feel energy. So when you feel that energy of that food that you're trying to eat, you will be able to understand that versus something else. Let's say chips energy, the energy of the chips versus energy of, let's say, an apple. So if you're able to compare this and feel it, you will be able to see that the energy, you'll have a lot more energy feeling when you try to measure an apple versus a chips. So all of these things we spoke about in the vibrations of food chapter. And then we spoke about what are denser foods. Again, denser foods are something that are more far away from a plant, and it is highly processed, and it is also, tampered a whole lot. Like, for example, alcohol. Now, so either the grain or the fruit basically has been killed, which means they have gone through a deep fermentation process. The fermentation process is nothing but a slow decay of that food, which means life energy has long gone. But the decay of the food, which is a controlled environment where these scavengers like yeast are grown in that environment, and that makes the food tasty. So people have learned to appreciate the taste versus the detriments of health that actually it brings. So all of these things are very, very far, and they make our body very acidic. And we spoke about all of that in the dense foods, majorly animal foods and dairy foods, which are not meant for us. They cause a lot of acids in the body. See, even in the plant-based food, let's say you're eating cooked food, you're majorly eating, let's say, only home-cooked food, oil-free food, whatever it is. Even if you're having 3 meals of the day, maybe frequently you will be eliminating with cold cough or whatever, but you will not have the kind of eliminations that a dairy product brings in or an animal food brings in. Because when you observe, rather after working a lot with people with plant-based aspects, and also understanding how animal foods happen in the body, how the mucus happens in the body, we will learn to understand that the mucus is far more thicker and far more difficult to come out as compared to plant-based mucus, plant-based acids that happen in the body, which because of malfunctions or whatever. So because grains and many of these things are also acids, right? So when those come inside the body, how the mucus formation is. So this the sound of the cough itself is very different, and the way the thickness of the mucus and the stickiness of the mucus, everything is very different when it comes to animal-based people's issues. But when it comes to plant-based issues, it is definitely much better. But then our focus is not just to go plant-based, but we have to go healthy plant-based, which means aid the body to be more healthy and not keep falling sick because we just went out of the center all the time. So our job is not to always keep focusing on the center, back to center. We'll have to be consistent, right? If we are here today, we'll have to consistently be moving to the center. Little bit here and there, you should be okay. But then going back, oh no, I let's say coming back, and then, oh no, I actually slipped, yeah, and then I went back. Again, I liked something, yeah, I came back. Then I did the. So this up and down, if you keep doing, body will basically not even understand, it will get confused. So absolutely no habits are formed. And you might be doing this up and down for 1 year, but your body wouldn't have progressed anything. You'll say, I'm plant-based for the last so many years, but see, nothing has happened. I'm not even seeing any health progress, but I'm constantly falling sick. I'm bloated, whatever. Because that up and down is happening a whole lot. Body needs habits. So whatever habit you are, that habit has to be consistently followed, and slowly you'll have to move in a similar fashion. So that is very important. A high protein, high fat. High proteins are, again, see, protein is a myth, okay? At least from this class, you have to go back with the feeling that I don't need to consume protein to build my muscles. I don't need it. I just need to work out. You need hard work in your lifestyle. You just need to work hard to make muscles. And the hard worked muscles are far long lasting than shortcut based muscles that you make with proteins. Plant protein, animal protein, all of those things are not necessary. But for a person who's dependent only on plant protein, whose head and all is only focused on protein, let's say he shifts from animal protein to plant protein, which is all this pea protein and grain protein and all that you find these days, which is okay. But at least over time, he eventually move from protein to fruit. So the more fruits you have, the more freely available natural sugars the body will get, and then that will be burned more to make more energy. So especially people who are working in the gym and all that, you don't really need protein. And then these days, there are so many people who just come to me and tell they're hardly even working out, okay? But then they say, where do I get my protein? I've understood that this is from the fitness industry, but then regular people also have started asking, where is my protein? Why do you need protein? So you don't need any protein. Your body naturally makes protein because that is the way the DNA works. Every DNA makes its own protein. And whatever protein it makes, let it make, because every animal only makes protein. Plant does not make protein. So you already are an animal, you are making your protein. Animals also are getting, when they give their own protein, then you have excess protein in your life, right? So the more fats you have, the less oxygen you have in the blood. It will become very sluggish, like let's say lava, like the volcano lava. You've seen that, right, on TV, wherever you've witnessed that. The lava is like slowly going. It's more like a oil, like during these Gulf wars, we've seen where all these the oceans and rivers and all, where the oil spills and all had happened. So you've seen how much of oil there was in the water and things like that. It was very viscous, right? That is what happens to the blood when you're constantly having oil in your foods. Because in the beginning, the liver will be able to manage that by overworking on that digestion of fat. But then as you move towards your 40s and 30s and all that, late 30s and 40s, the body will actually break down. And then you will see all these menopause issues and all that. Suddenly people think that, oh, I'm in my menopause, so I need to get these symptoms. It is not need to get these symptoms. It is a general tendency of people to get those symptoms because of general lifestyle. Everybody is leading a similar lifestyle, so everybody is getting the same kind of problems. So you don't have to face menopause problem or andropause problems in men, majorly because if your lifestyle is healthy, you don't need those problems. Body will naturally stop the flow of let's say egg release and things like that. For that, the body does not have to make you suffer. All this suffering is coming because suddenly, because the body is not actually doing the egg work, there is some energy that is made available to start healing the body in some way. And the liver is going to start showing up all of those releases, which is hot flashes and all of those things. So it is important to understand that all of these issues eventually create all these issues. So again, fats are not necessary. Gallbladder stones, kidney stones, and all of those stones are because of excess fat. Diabetes is also because of excess fat. It is not sugar problem. It is a fat problem. So don't go overboard in eating nuts and things like that. We don't need nuts on a daily basis. We are not nut eating people. Okay. So you are a fruit eating, a major fruit eating person. So predominantly your diet should consist of fruits, some amount of vegetables, and then on top of that, for your mind only, you're eating your cooked food. So be mindful about that cooked food also that you're putting inside the body. Don't just overindulge and then put all the wrong things, and then rest of the day or rest of the other days, you're again trying to undo all those effects. And then you'll age faster. Okay, the more you mess up with your body, you will basically age faster. Have you seen a lot of people with excess gray hairs, right? And children these days are with excess gray hair. They are maturing very fast. Their puberty, they are hitting very fast, and they also have PCODs and other issues very fast. periods issues very fast. Where is all this coming from? Because they are aging faster, right? So the more the cells will age faster, so the overall body will also show aging symptoms. So these are all low vibrating foods. We discussed about this. So next was healing crisis. Very, very important. Very important. There's a misunderstanding that you'll have to basically clear after this class. Healing crisis. What are healing crisis? Anything that happens in your body. See now, every day your house is going through healing crisis. Your house is going through healing crisis, which means you have a house or a home. Every day, how do you do healing crisis? You clean up your house. You do that jadu pocha. You clean, you mop your house, you sweep your house, you dust the windows, you dust all of those surface areas. All of those things you're doing, right? Why do you do all that? Because the body has to naturally keep doing healing crisis on a daily basis. Every day it has to clean itself up. So every day you are breathing out carbon dioxide. Every day you're going to the urination. Every day you go into potty. So in either way, body is cleaning itself. But let's say now you stop. Some days the garbage wala doesn't come. So what do? 2 or 3 days of garbage you're keeping inside the house itself. What will happen to that? Over time, it will start stinking. There'll be a lot of these house flies that will come on top of that, and then it will become a very messy place. Why all that happens is because of that food that is rotting, and all of these scavengers are now coming to take it back to the soil. So similarly, you are also going to become that house where there's a lot of junk that is stored inside the body if it has not been sent out on a daily basis. So ensuring that the body is constantly, the liquids in the body is constantly moving. The toxins in the body are constantly moving towards the kidneys. The breathing is happening properly. The potty is happening properly. All of these things have to be naturally flowing. And if you have, let's say, spent excess energy on one day, you'll have to balance that excess by saving energy on some other day. Every day I'm going to spend like this means it won't happen. So you have to bring some amount of balance. But if you don't, what happens? You will go from one stage of disease to another stage of disease, which we discussed in the previous thing. So in the process of going from one stage back to the previous stages, your body will release. So all these 3 days of waste that you kept inside the house, you will have to release it. Maybe she will say, today my cart is very full. I can take only one day, one dustbin. So today you will give one dustbin. The next day you will have how much? 3 more dustbins, because that day is also dustbin is there. So like this, every day you'll keep giving dustbin. One day the lady might say, today my cart is empty. I can take all the dustbins. So like this, you will keep giving. So the more you keep giving, what will happen? Your house will become cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Like this only, when you go through this healing crisis, it will come out through all the holes of your body, because holes are meant to release, holes are meant to also take in air. So like this, nose will release, cough, your throat will release something. Then let's say your genitals may release some things. Then your body will come through, give pains. Pains are also some form of release only, because there the body inside it's working, the muscles are working up and down, the blood is working to extract all these sticky ziddi dag, they say, no, surf excel, something like that. Ziddi dag and all will be brushed everywhere like this, and then they'll come out in all forms. So everything that is coming out of your body, everything that looks unnatural, is basically called healing crisis. You can expect anything to come out with healing crisis. So for your job is to constantly balance your vitality, balance your inner alkalinity, and then constantly keep going in that direction. If it's really very, bothersome, healing crisis has become very bothersome, which means it is trying, you are bedridden sort of thing. Let's say fever, very high fever, you are not able to get up and things like that. So at that time, just stay on liquids, just stay on juices. You don't have to eat anything on that day, because you want the body to completely focus on digestion, because they completely focus on healing you, because the body needs it. You can't pull that rubber band, you can't pull that fever like rubber band, like 3 days. No, I want to eat idli, I want to eat ganji, I want to eat all of these things. I feel like eating something. I feel like eating something hot, maybe one hot cup of, see, all this feeling will drag that fever for 3 days because the body wants to clean. In that process, add some more junk. That is not possible. So like that, you have to be more mindful. That is why all of these things that we are telling you has to be understood by unlearning and learning. So you'll have to think. It is more like a, what do you say, subject that you'll have to think more, and then you'll have to see, is this sickness requiring me to be on juices for today? But do I need 10 days of juice? Do I just need 1 day of juice? Do I need 1 day of rest, or just need a half day of rest? All of these things you have to question yourself. There is no good or bad, right or wrong. There is no mistakes in this. Okay, you just have to keep doing. When you make a mistake, you will know that you have to change that step towards a better thing in the future. But if you don't even try put that step, how will you know whether it helped you or it did not help you? You have to take that step. Only when you take that step towards your own betterment, you will get better. So healing crisis, you'll have to give rest in many different ways, and then vital energy will be improved. So day 7, we spoke about the suggestion. Yeah.
I was wondering if we could give 5 to 10 minutes for any questions, and the rest you can do tomorrow.
Okay, Asha. So any questions, friends? We'll talk about suggested time tomorrow. Any questions so far?
Somebody, Prashanti, I think, has a question.
Prashanti, yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smita. So actually, I have a question related to the topic Asha has covered. So the contagions, right?
Yeah, sure. You can answer.
I'm a bit unclear. So does it mean that like the contagions are not there? Like for example, a typhoid or malaria or whatever they are telling, right? Like it is caused by some impure water or something. So it's not. Is it not true? Something like that.
Yeah, it's not true in the sense it's not an external agent which is causing that. It is the internal toxicity of the body. See, it may be called malaria, it may be called tuberculosis, it may be called seasonal flu. These are just different names, but it's all because of the body toxicity happening from inside. It can be shown through different symptoms. That's all.
Okay. And for example, right, if my son catches cold, yeah, we are actually we let it go, and we let him heal by himself. But at the end, right, maybe I would catch cold or something like that. So that is also contagious, right? So
we don't catch any diseases. It's for example, let's say in this December time, right? Many people develop conditions of cold. So that is because of multiple reasons. I mean, everything is due to enervation only. One reason could be the body is spending a lot of energy in keeping itself warm. Then the pores of the skin are closed, so the exit of toxins which had to happen through the skin is not happening. So more toxins are retained inside the body. Then people tend to eat more fried foods, a lot of cooked foods, less raw foods during winter time. Then they don't go out in sunlight much, right? And then yeah, probably more worry also. We also have, make assumptions which build disease that, okay, every cold season I will get a cold, because that's what has been happening before also. So many reasons can start that. And because it's the same, right, the same kind of lifestyle everybody in the family leads. So we are also energetically connected. So what one person goes through uh, can move to another person also when we catch the same kind of thoughts and the lifestyle. So it's not some external bug which is going around which is causing the disease. It's again the internal conditions of the body which causes this. So you may see that in a family, maybe three people get that issue and the fourth person doesn't get it. So if it was indeed a virus which was causing that, then everybody should have got it, right?
So,
At
and
least
one more thing
everybody
to
in the
add
family.
here is, even though there is a viruses are everywhere, just because the medical industry or the science found the name of the virus inside somebody who's showing some symptoms, does not mean that it did not exist before. It existed, but people did not know. See, body, what it does is, over a period of time, even though those germs suddenly are now inside our body, the body takes that as a trigger to clean us up. Because the body suddenly cannot say, "Oh, I am very dirty now. I have to start cleaning." It needs triggers. It needs to understand that, okay, there is a difference in the body's way of something has entered inside the body, and then now I will start to clean up. And then in the process of cleaning up, what happens? It will give cold, cough, and all that. But it doesn't mean that the virus does not exist. Virus is not causing it. Virus is there, but the virus did not cause the problem. If the virus caused a problem, everybody in the world would have been sick at the same time with the same problems. Like poison. Like if somebody has poison, they will show same symptoms and they'll die. But that doesn't happen with viruses, right? It is more about what is the condition of your body when that organism entered you, or it was already inside you, but now the conditions are more suitable for the body to clean itself up. It's the toxins that were there that eventually brought those conditions together to make that whole process happen. Now, if let's say you also get a cold, it means that you also have similar toxins. But let's say you did not, let's say your son did not have, and then you still had toxins, but you may get a cold through some other trigger.
So typically there will be triggers like change of seasons or developmental milestones or certain poisons in the environment, stresses, all these things which I covered, right? So those are the things which cause the body to undergo a detoxification event. And Suman, to answer your question, COVID is also the same. So there is nothing special about this. That was also a detoxification event which many people went through at the same time.
Yeah, you
Due
don't
to
have to
various
fear
reasons.
COVID. You just have to believe that, okay, I just have to clean myself up. Let's say if you already got COVID in the past, you don't have to think that, okay, I need to fear COVID. And vaccinations also will not really help you. If you've seen people who've also been vaccinated have got COVID multiple times again. So how did the vaccination help? They took the vaccination only to avoid those COVID symptoms again, right? But they also got it back again. So how did the vaccination help in any way? It was a fear. It was the fear of COVID that made them to go and then take in something that was again toxic inside the body. How did those chemicals help the body again? It created more chemicals. So what should we do instead? We should first attack our own body and then clean ourselves up, get us back to homeostasis, fix our lifestyles, fix our thinking habits, fix our emotional habits, fix our rest habits. So where are the things that I'm going wrong? How much of hydration I'm giving into the body? How much of juices I'm drinking? How much of fruits I'm eating? So when we pay attention to all that, then you may not fall sick. Like some of our cases where who are 100% on raw diet and fruit diet and completely mindful. In one of the cancer cases, her entire family fell sick during COVID. She also lost her father to COVID, but she did not even test positive to COVID, and she was the one who was running around for the family. How did she not fall sick when the virus was already in the house? She took her father's vomit like this and then put it in the sink when he
Smita,
was.
just a correction, like I don't think she lost her father to COVID. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
fever.
It means during COVID, he was already having a lot of problems. So during that period, she even lost her. So what I'm trying to tell is the COVID virus itself doesn't actually do anything to anybody. It is their own condition of the body that gave them the problem. The vitality of the body actually deteriorated to such an extent where the body could not sustain itself. See, when the diseases are far more and you don't have the vital energy to clean itself up, what will happen? Over time, the body will shut down.
Okay,
You
okay,
have a
Smita. And
question
now,
from Anupama?
actually, one more question. So, as Smita talked about vaccination,
Can
right?
we give
So,
other people a chance,
yeah,
Prashanti? There are a few
yeah,
more people. Tomorrow you can ask.
yeah, sure.
Anupama?
Yeah. Hi. So, just a continuation of her question regarding typhoid. I've understood this thing very well, that if somebody drinks tap water by mistake and if the body is already toxic and quite bad, the way that will react with the body is different as opposed to a healthy body, an alkaline body. But then, like in typhoid, the fever is 103, 104 for continuous days. Are you still suggesting that even with that high fever and there's typhoid, there's no need to take antibiotics and a person can recover just on a liquid diet with fruits and juices?
See, actually, I think we brought a case study, right, on when Nalini spoke on day on 17th, not 17th, 20th, when she spoke about her own child's case of when he went to 105 fever. How did they handle it? And they did not take any antibiotics or anything. And antibiotics are not necessary, because when you take an antibiotic, what are you trying to do? You're trying to think that there is some germ that I have to kill inside the body. So the germ is not having any mean intention to come and kill us. It is basically, we are giving food to the germ, and the germ is trying to eat it. So what should we do? We'll have to make the environment, the body's condition such that the germ itself will disappear from our body, because it will stay in our body as long as we give it the condition. Like Asha explained, soil theory.
Right.
The soil, the body's soil or the body's condition is suitable for the typhoid virus to eat and live and proliferate. So when you remove those conditions by making the body highly alkaline, automatically they disappear. We don't have to say come, we don't have to say go. They will do it by themselves.
Right. So I wanted to just mention about that example where the children get sick and then the mother also gets sick. Since I've started this plant-based diet and vegetarian diet completely since 6 months, my whole family has been falling sick because they don't particularly follow my diet. And I'm the only one who hasn't fallen sick despite being in close contact with them, taking their vomits in my hand and all of that. So I can vouch for this, that my body has been, I used to fall sick every month with a throat infection and with allergies. And all of that has disappeared after following a healthy, clean diet with juices, more raw, like I have 70% raw diet now. So it really works like magic. I'm loving it. I'm addicted to this diet now. So just wanted to thank both of you to spread the word. And now I just have one question, that though I'm not falling sick or anything, I have some eruptions on my back. So after seeing your slides, I'm like, this is part of that irritation, some skin irritation is there. So some toxins are leaving the body through the skin. Like, so what do I do with that? Because my diet.
Just allow it to happen, Anupama. Just allow it to run its course. Don't apply anything. Of course, it may be irritable. So you can do some gentle sunshine. You can take baths, lukewarm water bath or cold water bath. Remain on fruits, conserve your body's energy, and then it will eventually go.
Okay.
Anupama, see, you just told that I'm not falling sick with cold and cough and all these days, right?
Right.
Whole life you will actually be healing from something or the other. So now it is the phase of skin. After skin goes, after a period, let's say 6 months, skin issues will disappear. Then something else will come, because the body is constantly cleaning itself. Deeper issues you are constantly cleaning. Like even recently, I had, let's say, a mild itchy skin on my back. It was not even visible. So the skin was absolutely clean, but still it was, I could feel that there is a itch, but I don't have to even scratch it. It was like that. Then suddenly I was also motivated to take cold water baths. It came. So almost last two months I've been on cold water baths in the morning. and then it has automatically gone by itself, because taking like that, because somewhere I've saved vital energy in some way. So the body took its time and then clean it. So these things don't really need some drastic diet change and all that. Because it's a very deeper issue, body will need that kind of time to clean it. These are not acute issues where you need immediate attention, give the immediate rest and all. So these will take time and then it will eventually go. So you should not pay attention to all that. Body is
Okay.
already working.
So
Yes.
can we wind up today, Smita?
Yeah.
We can take the rest of the questions tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
And I also
friends, we have
suggest
the
that
whole
see the
day
videos.
for.
In the videos also, we've actually addressed a lot of these questions in detail. So it would be great if you can do that.
And yeah, I would like to, just wait. Just I'll take few more minutes of you all, like Smita and Ashaji. I'm so thankful, and even the PSSM and Swag is so thankful, and all the masters over here who have been following us on Zoom and on WhatsApp, for your the wisdom which you have been sharing since from so many days. Today's 20th day, and you're doing such a selfless seva. It is one of the highest seva which one can do. So I would like to encourage people to come forward and do such seva. And yeah, you can do donation also. When you do the donation to spread the spiritual knowledge and meditation, it's like one of the, I can say, the best seva which you can do it. So to create such more events, like Holistic Buddha, we need your support, and to reach to the wider audience like you all, and to reach this wisdom to more and more people, we need your help at PSSM. So you can donate whatever amount you can, like from 100 rupees to 500 and onwards, or even $10 and onwards. So no amount is big or small. So I'll share the payment link in the WhatsApp group for you all for contribution. Whatever you can do it on your behalf. So thank you so much, Masters, for participating in today's session, and immense gratitude to Smita and Ashaji. Really tremendous. Thank you so much. I'll just wind up the session then. Thank you. See you all tomorrow. Masters, kindly join in for the last day.